So let me break it down and I'll explain to you each process in depth. The first one is thumbnail stage, and this is where you do research, and this is your idea development stage. I'll show you some actual example here. These are the small ones, and as you can see, there are many really quick drawings. And I have these ones that when I have a little more better visualization, then I go a little bit complex, but I try not to put too much time on this process. So I just wanted to get a feel of how quickly you can do for this particular stage. So these are the actual example. Let me tell you the advantage of using stickies instead of using a page of sketchbook. One is there's no pressure. If you don't like the drawing for some reason, then you can just toss it. The second reason is it's easier to organize and archive your ideas. Let me show you one example. So you have these different ideas, and sometimes you see, oh, maybe this idea and that idea maybe can work together to make something even better. So this is really good way to organize your ideas. Imagine if this is in a separate page in your sketchbook, you have to go back and forth in different pages. But this way, it's easy to see the different ideas right away and organize, reorganize. And also archiving is important for idea development stage. Like for example, I keep these ideas. This was for a different project, but I keep these sketches because sometimes I can use maybe this idea and that idea for my current project that I'm working on. Like, you never know, so it's really good to archive, and you can always have a easy access to it. That's why I do this. The next advantage is that it is small area, so you can't really put details. That means you can focus more on the idea. You're focusing, letting out your idea and the overall composition. And also that will save you time to put in too much details for unnecessary amount of effort for this particular stage. Again, this is just for the idea development stage, so you don't have to put too much time and effort to it. So those are the advantages of using this particular method. The next thing I want to think about is all the thumbnail sketches has to be done by ink, no pencil. The advantage of using ink tool to do sketch for thumbnails, one is you can't erase these ideas. So that means, again, since you can erase it, you don't have to worry too much about making mistakes. So that ends up saving your time to produce more ideas. So it means avoiding adding details and focus on ideas. Not so much of actual work, but again, this is the idea development stage. You want to focus on ideas. For upcoming project, I want to try having these thumbnails, at least 16 different sketches. Until you get used to it, you might feel that's a lot of sketches, but like you see, each sketch takes probably a few minutes each. So it's not that much work. If you can focus on coming up with a different idea, it will be not that much heavy workload. Quantity and variation of idea is more important than quality of your drawing. You want to do quick and simple drawing as much as possible, and focus on variation of ideas too. Even though you have a good amount of sketches, if they are very similar in ideas, then that's not effective for this particular stage either. So you want to have good amount of sketches with a lot of variation in ideas. That is very important for this particular stage. And also, do not use any digital tool for this stage, except for research purpose. You can probably search online to get some ideas. You want to get some inspiration, but you want to keep it to good old hand-drawn sketches for this particular stage. Why you do not want to use digital tool for sketch? To me, one of the reasons is, again, since this is for idea development stage, you want to have good stimulation in your brain. And when you move your hand, when you do the traditional drawing, pen and ink, pencil, even on the paper napkin, even though it's really messy drawing, it is a really good stimulation for your brain. And then that results more ideas later on for this stage. And again, more ideas, more variation, really good for this stage. So what I've just done is documentation of visualizing my ideas. So I need to develop furthermore. And imagine you have many of these. So now I'm looking at maybe these two first. Maybe my idea is focusing on fun experience of camping. Then my image will be more like campfire, maybe tent in the background. This is more like a teepee. And maybe a lot of marshmallow roasting. So this could be a little more than just documenting, but now it's documenting your idea instead of direct translation, direct visual translation. Then maybe I look at these three all together as a different camping experience. Maybe the tent and the campfire is smaller here. And I have the big bear in the background. Maybe type goes in here. So this would be another idea option. Now I'm looking at these two particularly. And maybe I can stay away from the reality a little bit. So instead of just campfire and bear, maybe a bear character is camping with his or her cubby bear. So I can expand the ideas this way. And imagine if you have more ingredients, then the result, you can have more variation and more quantity. As you can see, each one takes, I guess it's probably less than a minute. You can put a little more time, but as long as you can see what's going on, as long as you can remember what you developed as an idea, that's very important for this particular stage. And so because of that, you don't have to go any further as far as the quality of the drawing. And also, very important to keep this small format. Even you can use small format like this one if you're comfortable with it. The reason why you don't want to do a bigger drawing, even I do the same bear here, because of the big surface. Even though I try really hard, because of the bigger surface, it takes more time. So this is totally unnecessary. And once you're doing the quick sketch in bigger format, and it doesn't look really good. It's smaller, it doesn't matter so much. So now what you want to do is you tend to add more detail to make it look a little more presentable. But again, that's not necessary, so it's really important to stick to this format, or even smaller. Now, because I don't have to worry about adding detail, adding textures or anything, I can look at the shape or the ideas better. The shape of this bear is like this right now. So that's all I need to know. Or the fact that I'm using bear instead of a dog, because that's part of the idea. That's important on this particular stage. So I hope that gives you an idea of how to use sticky notes, how fast you can do for this type of drawing, and how to come up with certain ideas.